Hi guys, it's Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my May wrap up part 2. Now I don't know how I did it, but I somehow read 39 books this month and I'm filming on the 31st. How I did that, I've got no idea, apart from the fact that it's actually been more of a chilled month. I've had a lot of chronic pain, so I've rested as much as I could, and it's probably been one of my quieter months. And I've only just done it, so I don't know how I did it. I finished my last book last night, so technically they all got read in 30 days. And today I'm kind of starting my June books, but hey ho. Now, when I got up this morning, it was sunny. We've been to Henley, may have bought a few books. Not many. Trust me, for me, it was a miracle. Obviously, they've gone on June haul because, you know, that's me. But yeah, it was sunny this morning and now it's gone grey, so I thought I'd better film in my bedroom, which is really weird. It feels very weird. But the next few minutes are going to be stats, so jump to whatever, it'll show you where to jump to. I don't know how to set it up to do all that anyway. But here are the stats bit now. Like I said, I read 39 books. 38 of those were off my unread TBR, so that's really good. Kind of bought 40 books. But I did unhaul 8 books off my unread TBR. So this is the stat that I did not expect to happen. I was like going to the guy at my book waffle group. I said, I'm never going to get my TBR down this month. Not happening. It's going to kill me. So that's probably also what determined me to kind of pick up some shorter books and kind of read quite a lot. But my May unread TBR was 424. Today, technically, we don't count the books I got today, but my June unread TBR is 418. Now I am cutting down what I'm buying because obviously the charity shop is actually teaching me that I don't need to just buy everything straight away, and it's taught me a lot. So I am down by -6 books. Yes! My shelves are actually starting to look a bit clearer. Well, that was before I kind of bought some books, but it doesn't matter. They're looking better. I'm really happy with that. I only read 1 thriller this month. I think that's because I've got less thrillers now, so I'm being really particular on which ones I read. I read 2 fantasy, and that's quite good. That's all right. That's kind of average for me. 4 classics. Now, obviously, going forward in July, we know that's going to be going up because I've got Jane Austen in July, and I've got 2 that are definitely happening in June. So June will... No, 3 actually, because I've got the Anna Long... I've got 2 buddy reads that are classics. So... yeah, that's actually going to be going back down. Non-fiction, I read 4, which is brilliant. Loved them all. I read 12 historical fiction, which is really what I wanted. That's the kind of number I know. I know that it's not going to be more than my contemporary books. And do you know what? I'm okay with that now. I read 16 contemporary books. There was only 4 difference. But at the end of the month, I tend to binge read my contemporary because I can read that at any time of the day. Whereas historical fiction, I need to read earlier. But that number's probably going to gain. Looking at my books for June, I've got a lot more contemporaries than I have anything else because it's summer and I wanted to pick summer books. So now I'll tell you the star ratings, then I'll go into the books that I've read for each star rating. In the whole month, I only read 2 stars, 4 3 stars, 3 3.5 stars. So that number is like 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 out of the whole 39 books. That is bloody good. I read 11 4-star, 5 4.5 stars, and smashing it out of the park this month was my 5 stars, 14. Now in this group, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I'll be talking about today. The other ones will be linked in the wrap up part 1. And yeah, see, I'm going to tell you now, see if you can predict which one out of my 5 stars is going to be my favourites. I'll be honest, there are 2 favourites from this pile, and to be honest, I would really struggle. There could be loads more because these 2 favourites are going on my favourites for the year, and there's another one that could easily go on my favourites for the year so far because it was just amazing. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But I don't want this video to be too long because I have got quite a few books to talk about right now. 4, 5, 7, 7, 3, 6, 7, 14. I've had 4 is 18, 18 add 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 books to talk about so far. and I don't want to go on this video too long because I want to go in and read and relax with my family. So let's talk about the books that I cannot wait to be throwing off my shelves this month. One of them was a book I bought at my charity shop because I thought it looked good and I thought I'd heard good reviews about it, and that was The Girls by Emma Cline. This is quite new to my bookshelf, but I hated it. It was about a cult. There is a lot of graphic sex scenes, there is murder in this, there is a lot of triggers in this, and a lot that I really don't like. This is set in 1969 and it's a really hot summer. It's set in America. And to say there are more triggers than you can shake your finger at, you can't. But the only reason it got extra half star was because I did fly through it. It was short chapters and I flew through it. But as to how much of this was because I just wanted it off my shelves, I don't know. But I safely to say I hated it. It's going bye. Another one I bought because it said Kate Worsley. I thought it was Lucy Worsley. It's She Rises, and it was an okay one. It was 2.5. But again, there was quite a lot of triggers. I didn't connect with it. I flew through it, but it was just like, this apparently sings to the reader with dulcet hypnotising tones of a true heroine. The sea luring you in, then lulling you at a rolling pace. I didn't down any of that. I didn't get it. Didn't connect with me. Can't wait for it to go. Bye. Sorry, I'm just eating loads. Then I picked up a Daphne du Maurier because, well, you can't go wrong with that. It was a short story. It was the breakthrough. It was one of my short classics. It was all right. It was 3 stars. It was all right, but nothing spectacular. I'm not sure whether I keep this or not. No, I'm not. It's all right, but nothing spectacular. That was more of a sci-fi Daphne du Maurier. So you know me and sci-fi, they don't normally get on. Though there is one coming up that's a bit different. Then I picked up the second in the Honeyfield series, and this is A Stranger at Honeyfield, and I could not connect which was the book from this one and which was the book from the first series. It's all right, but it's so typical Anna Jacobs. A lot of her books are so run the same old storylines, and I'm starting to get a bit bored of it. Set in 1916, Bella is working as a voluntary aide driving ambulances in London when she gets engaged to Philip on leave from fighting in France. His family strongly disapprove of her, but the two of them are happy together. Georgie, Philip's sister, is in trouble, having a broken engagement and fled from her bullying family. She wonders who she can turn to for help, and she finds herself at the gate of Honeyfield. When the worst happens, Bella must manage on her own. It's just... Then you've got Philip's best friend Tess, who helps her, and just a bit too atypical, a bit too standard. Not one that particularly jumped out at me. That was 3.5 stars. I've just realised I put that in the wrong pile. This is the next one that was 3 stars, and this was my buddy read with Gemma from Read a Book Gem. And to say there is a lot of... This is, I would think, more middle grade than YA. I thought it was YA, but it's not. It's a lot more middle grade. But it's not promoting the best thing about body image, in my opinion. It's fat phobic, but it's middle grade. And I wouldn't say that it's showing the middle grade people how to look at your body in the best image. You know, I'm a bit of a curvy girl, and I'm not afraid of my shape, and I love who I am. But reading this, if I was reading this when I was bigger, I would have got very, very upset by this book. And I think I don't want my kids reading this. I wouldn't want my children reading this, because I wouldn't want Mia or Thomas to get paranoid about their weight and think that it's wrong to be bigger, because it isn't. And I think this is not creating the best image. It's quite a newish book, and no, I think it's set in the 2000. It was published in 2000 or something. But it's not... Yeah, it's apparently published in like 2019, but I just don't feel like it's written right. So, not for me. Gemma didn't agree with that either. And another one that's random off my shelves, because it's been on my shelves a little bit, and this was A Pinch of Salt by Eileen Ransbury. It's, again, very typical. This one does go over a long period of time. It's 3.5 stars, but it does span a very long period of time. Kate Kennedy, again, like, you've got someone that's set at the time of the Great War. She falls in a loveless marriage. She stays married, and then just when she falls in love with her husband, you know what's going to happen. Oh, just family stuff, and it's just a lot of tragedy in this book, and it just wasn't for me. So it's good. That one was good, but just not like as good. Now the next one was a Veronica Henry book, and it's the second in the Beach Hut series, and I was hoping there'd be some characters connected from the first Beach Hut series, but it seems like it's not. This is, I still can't decide. I've put it as 3 stars, 3.5, but it could easily be 3, because you're going to Everdeen, which is the place where there's all the summer beach huts, and it's good. good enough book. But for me, there is a lot of lead characters, which can sometimes happen in this author's work. And I kind of got lost in some of the different ones. If it would have been just focused on Vince and his brother, Jenna and Elodie, who are the ones that are on the front of the cover of this, then it would have been all right. But then you've got loads of other characters, and I kind of got lost at times. It was good, but not as good as I wanted it to be. But now, everything else now is 4 stars and above, and they are all fantastic. So, I'm sorry about this, but yes, it's all good, but they're nothing fantastic. Excuse me, because I'm not like the guys. I can't edit, so you're going to get me like this. But yeah, 4 stars is good. 4 stars is good. I'm just not keeping it. It's not the full package. For me, this one, the next one was The Sealed Letter, which was my book for the historical fiction readathon. There's also Gemma from Book with Gem with Books. I will link her channel down below, because there's 2 Gemmas, and there's one that's not on BookTube at the moment, Read a Book Gem, and then there's the other Gem. And I love her. I love her. So that was Gem's pick, and this was Helen Cottington is unhappily married to, and then you've got Emily Fido Faithful, who hasn't yet seen her one dear friend for years. After bumping into Helen on the streets of Victorian London, Fido finds herself reluctantly helping her to carry on with an affair with a young army soldier. This was good. It was long. It was good. You've got a bit of an attempted rape, which is a bit sort of tragic. It's set in England in 1864. It was good. It wasn't as good as Room and one of the other books, but it was really good, and I blew through it. It was probably one of the books that I saved for the second half, but it's massive. It's like 470 odd pages, so it's good. Not one I'm going to keep, but it was good. Now we've got a book that I picked off my shelves again, and this is Dear Emmy Blue by Louise, and oh my god, this one made me cry. It was 4 stars, but it was really good. A long time ago, Emmy Blue released a red balloon with a secret message inside, and against all odds, across hundreds of miles of ocean, it was found on a beach in France by a boy called Lucas. 14 years later, on the eve of her 30th birthday, Emmy hopes that Lucas is finally going to kiss her, but she never expected him to announce he was going to marry someone else. And then Emmy's dreams are shattered. It was a good contemporary, really sweet. I love Lucas's brother, which I shouldn't have loved, but I did. There is definitely some twists and turns in this that you didn't expect. I really did enjoy it. It was quite a good, fun contemporary. But I'm going to give that to my friend Lisa. She's going to have that. And again, I've got another one that was off my shelves. And this is, I've been really hit and miss with Tracy Chevalier. Some of her books have been great. One of them I've DNF'd. One of them that I did try a chapter on and didn't like. And I had, obviously, The Girl with the Pearl Earring, which I loved. And I liked Remarkable Creatures. This is good. It is set in the Black Swamp of Ohio, and it's quite an old book. What year is it set in? 1850s. Yeah, 1838 is when you start off with this, and it's about a family, the Goodenough family, and you start off with their parents and everything else, and then you go on to one of the boys, Robert, and his journey. And they kind of interlink, and it's quite good. Flew through this, really enjoyed it. It would definitely say this is one of Tracy Chevalier's better books, but I'm not going to keep it. Then I got good old Danny the Champion of the World by Roald Dahl. I think Mia's got a copy of this, so I might give this to Thomas to save him when he gets a bit older. It's quite sweet. Not one of Roald Dahl's best books in my opinion. It's nowhere near like Matilda or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it's not one of the worst, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, but I'm glad I read it. It's finally off that big original book haul video thingy, so it's not really keepy. Then we've got a Karen Swan book, and again I've been really hit and miss with this author. The Christmas book of hers I didn't like. This was a lot better. I flew through this. This is one of her newer books apparently. It only came out last year, and I blooming quite enjoyed this one. I flew through it. It is half set in obviously now, and it's also set in Costa Rica in the jungles. And it's about a doctor something happens at the start of the book, and then you jump 10 years into the future, and you want to know what happened, what changed, what big change happened, and what was the twist at the end of the book, and you want to find out that. You want to find out like about the naughty guy, and it's just really good. But there's some scary bits in this and some fun bits, and it's mystery, and it's a contemporary, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was 4 stars, but it was one of her better ones. And it's got me looking forward to the next book, which I've heard, which I think is The Hidden Beach, which I'll be reading this summer. Can't wait to read that. Then you got a good old Kathy Brownlee. It's not, okay, this one's not one of Kathy Brownlee's best books in my opinion, because it's Hetty's Farmhouse Bakery. It's all right. 32-year-old Hetty Greengrass is the star among the rest of her in which her family orbits. Motherhood, marriage, and helping Dan run Sunnybrook Farm has certainly kept her hands full for the last 12 years. But when her daughter Poppy has to choose her inspiration for her school project, she picks her aunt, not her mum, and Hetty is left full of self-doubt. It's all right. Nothing spectacular. Very nice and cosy contemporary, but not one of my favourites of hers. So that will be going bye-bye. And then one I am going to be keeping, because it was Katie from Books and Things' choice for me for the month, and it was also a classic. It was the classic that was published the year I was born, and I really did enjoy it. It was Kindred. I buddy read this with Gaia, but the ending let me down, and it didn't deliver what I expected it to deliver. Sci-fi classic contemporary, I don't know exactly what it is, and it was really good. It's sort of set in dual timelines, so 1976 and 1815, and then she jumps between the 2 timelines, and it is good. There's some very hard-hitting like slavery stuff in this, and you have to be very warned about what you're going to go into. It's about 2 people bound by blood, separated by so much more than time. This is good, but very hard-hitting. So this is my keepy. And now we go into the 4.5 star books. Oh my goodness. From now on, I tell you one thing, I am looking at these going, I'm not going to keep the 4.5 stars, but I'm keeping all of the 5 stars because all of them are just spectacular. The 4.5 stars ones were good. The next one is the last book I read last night. I literally finished it about 10:30 last night. Secrets and Seashells at Rainbow Bay. Ali McNamara is a never disappointing author. She is a fan of the fantastic, and I love her work. This is Amelia, who is a single mother doing her best to look after her son Charlie when money is tight and times are tough, and then she first hears that she's the last descendant of the Chesterford family and that she's inherited a real-life castle by the sea. Amelia can't believe it is, but it's true. You've actually got some spooky elements in this. You've got a mystery element in this. You've got great characters. You've got some twists in this that I didn't expect. You've got a bit of romance. Love Charlie's characters. Love all the characters in this. It is diverse. It's picture. It's everything you could ever want in a book. And I'm lending this to my mum because I think she will love that. And then I think once she gives it back, I'll give it to Lisa because I think Lisa will love that as well. Now the next one is one I might say for Danny from Danny's Book World, because I think Danny would like this. This is set in 1895 in Hampstead, London. Olive Westerner lives a privileged but lonely life in her family's grand Hampstead home, but then she has radical plans for her future. And then you've got another lead character. There's not too many lead characters, which is what I loved. 12-year-old Ottie Finch. So she's only 12, and that's sort of she's got a shadow over days. Her only shadow is her mother's mysterious illness. And then you've got Mabs, who is their domestic servant, and she's offered a chance to become Mrs. Finch's companion, and it saves her from a desperate life on the canals. Loved this book. I think she'll really love it. It's my first Tracy read. It won't be my last. I've got another book by her on my shelves. Really enjoyed that. I'm not sure what to do with that, so that's going there to be not sure with. The next one is 4.5 stars. It is one of Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures' favourite books. I'm not keeping this because it will freaking kill me. It is the most emotional book ever. We know that it's based on the real life event. It's she basically has early onset dementia or early onset Alzheimer's, I think, and it is bloody hard. She's just 50 when she finds herself in a downward spiral, forgetful, and then early onset Alzheimer's disease, and it's sets to change her life and her relationships with her family. This will break your heart, but it's going to have to go to a charity shop because I think that would kill everyone else. The next one is Kristin Hannah, my first Kristin Hannah I'm talking about. It's 4.5 stars. I loved it. It was about 2 sisters, and this one makes me cry because there's a twist in this that I didn't expect, and it really did make me want to cry. It's about sisters Megan and Claire, and they're half sisters, and their things have taken twists, and they're trying to get themselves back together. and it's emotional and it's brilliant, and oh, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember if Danny's got that one, so that might be, yeah, that's going down to one side. Danny, I've got like 3 or 4 parcels to send. I will send yours. I've got one for Amy, I've got one for Gemma, for the other Gemma, and oh my god, it's just mad. I've got too many books, 2 parcels to send, and it looks like, it sounds like it's hammering down now. But now I'm on to my 5-star books, and pick out of, see if you can pick which ones are going to be my favourites. I've got 2 favourites, but to be honest, there's 3 that I could easily rate as favourites. The first one is my penultimate book that I read this month, and it is the first book that Heidi Swain ever wrote and got published, and it is the first in the Winmouth series, and it's bloody good. I loved it. I've got another book to talk about in here, which is The Summer Fair, which is her most recent book. So I read her first book and her most recent book, and this is so flipping good. It sets you up because it tells you about how the Cherry Tree Cafe starts. And that Cherry Tree Cafe is in a lot of our other books, and there is in the whole rest of the series. Most of the rest of the series, you will see the people from this. So it's based around Lizzie, who at the start of the book expects her boyfriend to propose, and then things take a very surprise turn, and she ends up going back to her childhood home, and she's with her best friend Gemma. And Gemma and her husband Tom are in, again, they're in a lot of this series. They're also in a lot of another series of books that she's written. So to say I love this. So this one is the first in that series, but then you've got another series, which is the Nightingale Square series. And I believe Gemma and Tom actually turn up, and they're actually connected with the Nightingale Square series. So they're kind of internet connect. So it's great to see where the original characters in this book actually appear in other books by this author, because she has 3 series. I've only read 2 of them. I've not even read 2 of them completely. I've read the Nightingale Square series completely. This series is a very longer series, and I've not read all of the books in it, but I do plan to read all of them. I've got nearly all of them, and I can't wait. I've just got some Christmas ones that I've got to find, which Charlie from Charles Heathcote's going to help me find. By the way, he's really close to his 1,000 subscribers, so get to him. Go and subscribe to him. I'll link his channel because he deserves to get to that. I'm getting closer, but I want him to get there first because he's been on BookTube a lot longer than me. But yeah, this is about like Lizzie and what happens with her and her sewing skills and finding herself. Bit of romance, bit of intrigue. Loved it. Just thoroughly 5 stars. I'm keeping that. That's my first keepy. Then another keepy is The Heart's Principle by Helen Wong. I got given this by Gemma from Read a Book Gem for my birthday. 3rd in this series. Thoroughly loved it. 5 stars all the way. And it's set around violinist Anna Sung. And she accidentally achieves career success with a YouTube video. And then when her boyfriend of 5 years announces that he wants an open relationship, a hurt and angry Anna decides to embark on a string of one-night stands. But then the first bloke she meets, she falls for. And then enter motorcycle riding Quan Diep. Their first attempt at the one-night stand fails, as does their second and third, and then things develop. And I love Quan. He's one of the sexiest guys. He is sexy, and he's gorgeous, and he's lovely, and he's kind, and he's caring. And I thoroughly loved it. Brilliant book. And then we've got a book that I loved, and I will definitely be keeping. I think most of these 5 stars are getting kept, not all of them. This was amazing. It was 4 Winds by Kristin Hannah. One of my best friends, Tracy, got to be this for my birthday. It was my first buddy read with Danny from Danny's Book World. I can't describe to you how much I love this book. It is set in 1934 in that great the Great Plains, and Elsa Martinez has finally found the life she yearned for, a family at home and a livelihood on the farm. And then when drought threatens it all, Elsa's world is shattered to the winds. Fearful of the future, Elsa is forced to make the hardest decision of her life. Fight for the land she loves, or take her beloved children west to California in search for a better life. Oh my goodness, this is like an incredible journey of survival, hope, and what you do for the people you love, set against America's Great Depression of the 1930s and the Dust Bowl. This book will break you. It will break you into more pieces than you can shake your noggin at. It flipping killed me. It is incredible. It's brilliant. I loved it. I cannot use words to describe it. This is going to be one of my favourites for the year. It was amazing, which I should never let slip because it's giving you a hint. But it was flipping amazing. I cannot describe how much I love that book. I love budging reading it with Danny. We flew through the end. We were supposed to finish it a couple of days later, but we were just like, we don't want to put it down. It was just amazing. Then a non-fiction book I picked up, which is quite a recent book to me, but I bought it because of my daughter and because of my niece. My daughter because it's got the cat thing, my niece because of the autism, and the rep in this is brilliant. It is about George, who is always a puzzle for his mum, severely autistic and socially withdrawn. Now, autism has a varying range. You can go from being a little bit to a lot, and it can affect everyone in different ways. It can affect children, adults, and I would like to get more awareness of that out there because I know lots of people. I do wonder whether Thomas is my son is slightly autistic. If he is, do you know what? I don't mind. But I know a lot of people who are, and I love them so dearly. And the way that the prejudice against autism was certainly back when this book was first written, and about how animals and how lots of other things can help children and help adults is incredible. And I think this book is a great representation. So this is one Mum's going to be lent because I think she'll love that. But it's a beautifully written book and I loved it. Now obviously my page turn book was going to be 5 stars, although it's not one of my favourite of the authors. It's not one of the best page turn books, but it is still 5 stars. I remember it dearly and I loved it. It's about Bronte, and she never expected to see Alex after a one night stand, but she never stopped thinking about him. So when she arrives at work one day to find Alex is her new colleague, she's secretly thrilled. The only problem is that Alex is now engaged to the girl he was on a break from. And this is really good. Thoroughly 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Definitely loved that. That's my keepy. Now, like I said about the Heidi Swain book, this was incredible. This was the 4th and most recent, I believe, 4th or 5th, I can't remember. It's 4th or 5th in the Nightingale series, Nightingale Square series, and it centres around Beth, who has a job working in a care home. Got this book for a ad PR product for Buy Tandem Read Along. And to say I loved it is just an understatement. It is my favourite book of the authors so far. Beth is a great character. She has grief, she has anxiety, she has a lot of things with her, and yet she still does everything for the people she cares for. And when she ends up staring at a house with a lovely Eli, she jumps at the chance. And she's got this whole bit where it's all locked away because she thinks it's safer to lock it away. And when she finds the little cracks starting to appear and she wants to open up, it scares her. But the people in Nightingale Square, they want to open her up. They want to be there for her. And I just loved it. I can't describe how much I loved it. Yeah. Then the last book I read, not the last book, but you know, the last book to talk to you about is Page Two's this is actually Kathy Glass's most recent book. And it was actually written at the time of COVID, the first COVID lockdown, which gave me quite a few triggers because obviously we're still 2 years down the line, and thank God we're coming out of it. But how much damage COVID did to people and how much damage it did to children in care and children in general, this broke me. The police and social services have no choice but to remove 2-year-old Jamie from home after his mother leaves him alone all night to go partying. When he first arrives with the foster carer Kathy Glass, he's scared, hungry and withdrawn, craving the affection he has been so denied for so long. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant book. It's amazing. Kathy Glass's books are amazing. Having this written at COVID time and having how recent it is was fantastic, but it will break you. So that's not going to be kept. So this is a half-an-hour video. This is a long video. But what do you think my favourites are going to be? Dun, dun, dun. You can pause it if you want. Dun, dun, dun. My 2 favourites are, of course, The Summer Fair by Heidi Swain and The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah. I'm pushed, although to be honest, that is very close. That is very close. That's still going to be in my top books of the year, I think. And that's 3 books that I could easily add into my top 10 books of the year so far. They're all fantastic. They're all incredible. And I have had a great reading month in May. I did not expect it to be this good, but it smashed it out of the parks. Let me know in the comments down below. What's been your favourite book of the month so far and of the year? Yeah, let me know. Is there any books of these that I've made you want to read? Is there anything you want to say to me in the comments? Let me know down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.